we are live. Let me go ahead and just confirm that this is working. Okay, this is looking right.
Mm-hmm.
Posting it in the team. Yeah, some people were pinging me today for practice, but I was just so busy I couldn't do anything. Like, I'm free now
Oh,
after
you
this.
good, you good. For the week.
Yeah. Let's see, so week 4 recap. SEO week 4 recap. Let's give people just a few minutes to hop in. We adjusted the calendar for the Europe crowd, so hopefully you get a couple of people from Europe to
I mean, it's a bit... Yeah, most will probably just be in bed, because it's 11 already. And it's more like, if we start at 2 a.m, that's just too late for me. I'll ski tomorrow.
Obviously. Close here. Then everyone.
Double ping. Why Sven Fate review? It's not a Fate review. Actually.
Well, I don't think. I mean, if somebody hasn't seen your picture in the World Cup, they've never seen your face before because you don't stream or you don't do any of these things.
I've never been hiding my face. I just never not watching because Sven is there.
Yo, when are we building a Primarina team? Started doing that 6 months ago and then we stopped.
Oh no, that team was completely trash.
Of course it was, but it was still Primarina, so it was funny.
No, it wasn't.
It was so funny. It would still one-shot things as long as it didn't get one-shotted by Rillo.
No, it was literally just bad. Straight up bad.
Yo, Ben Bill, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, that team was so bad. I can't even remember what was this series 11?
I don't know. Let me check if it's still my folder.
It's probably still in your folder. It was series 11. The team was so bad. The premise was good, but in practice it was just so bad.
Remember, I was pretty excited for it, and it was just completely trash. I don't think I have it.
Breda says he's not gonna join because you're here. Borgie, for
I
team,
wouldn't
it's the same team as week 2. I just tried to CT to tie for a bit with the Togekiss. When we get to your team, let's make sure just comment and then we'll bring up your comments, Nick. I guess let's go ahead and get started. We have a few people here, so let's not delay further. Well, I guess thank you guys for being here. I know this is a little bit earlier than we usually do it, but wanted to make it at least a little bit more friendly to Europe. I know it's still 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Sven is 9 years old, so he was falling asleep, and I had to.
Bro, shut up.
But anyhow, thank you very much, Sven, for being here. You know I have to roast you. I know you're gonna be roasting me half the thing, anyways. So I had to take one while I had the chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, it's totally fine. We'll get to your team. I'll call you out just so that you comment. Yeah, Sven is one of the managers here for the Lunala Dream Eaters, and they're actually first
Yeah.
place right now. So
We are first seed right now. Yeah.
first
Happy.
seed. So I mean, they are playing against a team that is a.
We're playing second seed. I think Thunders are second
I
seed.
believe they're the second seed, so they might
They are-
have a
they
word
are,
or
yeah.
two to
That's wise,
say
right.
about you guys being on first seed. So we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Now Brad joins.
Oh, now he is here. He is here at least. At last. At last
So
he is here.
thank you very much for being here, my friend. So we're gonna do the same drill as we do
Yeah,
every
no
week.
problem.
We're gonna talk about the difference in the meta changes between the past 2 weeks, just in terms of the matches that were played and the ones that were brought. We're gonna talk about the matches. Then we're gonna do something slightly different, and we're going to bring up player rankings because I think we have enough of a sample to talk about those who are 3-0. So a little
Great, yeah.
excited to talk about that, and then finally we're going to do some predictions for the following week. So with that in mind, let's hop on the next one. Had a good conversation with Satsuko last week about the meta here, and a couple of things that called my attention was the rise of Cortana. The fact that Incin from week 1, which was number 1 in usage, went to number 3, and then in week 3 went to number 2. Dragapult still being pretty high but with a low win rate, and a couple of ones that were going up and down, like Heatran that was in the climb, and then months like Cresselia that seemed to be phasing out. So with that in mind, going to week 4, there's a couple of very important things that immediately called my attention. And yes, I would agree, Nick, that Neolego's broken. It's actually been number 4 in usage consistently since week 2 on a weekly usage perspective. Two things that caught my attention. So last week Cortana was the number 20 with an 80% win rate, and Satsuko and I talked about the fact that we thought it should be higher in usage, and it was actually 13th in usage this week. When I talked to Sableye week 2, I told him that I was very surprised that Zapdos was not part of the meta because I thought it was very strong. It still did not make an appearance in the top 20 last week. And then in week 4, it made an appearance at 10% usage, almost 11 with 100% win rate. So that immediately jumped out at me. With that in mind, I'm not sure, Sven, what else caught your attention here?
I think for the first time, I think Araquanid got into the top 20. I like them on, I think I love it. It has good coverage, being able to do well against Urshifu, because you completely wall Urshifu. Just having Castle neutral against Rillaboom, it can still hit you for aggressive Root Hammer, but Leech Life, it's just a two shot. And
it's so
Insane, you just
bulky
smack
too.
things in. It's super bulky, and like a substitute set, on the Trick Room, it can really just destroy some teams, but it does need a B2 next to it, B2 Araquanid, super strong. We've also seen Spectre rise again. I think it fell off after week 1, because then you had the Dragonite team, Dragonite Clef, Spectre, and Nasty Plot sub. From what I've seen the matches this week, I think it changed a bit. The Spectre Rush run, Snarl, Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, more supportive role. And the winner is pretty decent with a high usage rate compared to other weeks. I think it wasn't even in the top 20 last week.
Very good, very good. Something else that I know that you actually brought this up in when we were reviewing, that P2 had the exact same usage percentage as the previous week, 17.39%, 17.39%. So consistently same number of teams that are bringing in P2. One of the big things to call out here is week 1, Serena was very high in usage, top 5 or 6. The following week, it was about 12 or 13. The following week, I think it was 5 actually. It was actually 5. Then this week is back at 16, and it's had mixed win rates. I feel like Serena is a very strong mon. It almost feels like people are bringing it as an answer to Rillaboom and Incineroar, but it's not truly a counter to them. Seems like people are bringing it also potentially as a counter to some of the things in the meta that are not that Serena's not really a true counter to it. It just has a very strong ability. So not sure what your
Yeah,
take on that one is.
I think it's just a solid mod in general, like being able to have pivoting coverage, ice coverage is pretty good here with just a strong power whip. And it's put an AV, you can basically just take any special hit for sure. Like you can also run a more supportive set with Citrus Berry, Taunt, helping anti and protect. I think it's just a solid mon. Even though it's going down in pick rate, I just think it's just a solid mon to have on the team. Like you can't go really wrong with it.
Cool, very cool. Another thing that really called my attention is the climb of Tapu Koko. Had a very low win rate this week, but I wouldn't let that fool you. Among Us made top 5 this week, which I think it's funny because I think every meta that Among Us has been a part of in Sword and Shield, it has started low and it progressively begins to climb just because it's such a good mon with redirection. It's bulky. It can actually hit pointed things depending on the format, and if it's not hitting things, it's running Pollen Buff and you're healing your teammates, and obviously you have Spore and Redirection, so it's just a super strong one. And I think you're seeing Tapu Koko rise in usage, among other things to counter that. Obviously also Urshifu and some of the other things in the meta, but certainly as in part as a response to Among Us, so that's something that definitely caught my attention as well.
Yeah, I think Among Us is just always good. Like being able to be super bulky, very good in Trick Room, just Spore, Pollen Puff, Redirection, just also pretty decent type. Like it completely was Urshifu. Like if you put a Rocky helmet on it, you just take like I don't know 20% damage or 25 yourself as the Among Us, and you do like 50% back to it. It's just Among Us is just very strong.
Yeah, for sure. To Nick's point, he's saying that people have a willing ignorance of how good Among Us is as the start of every format. I agree. Like every format, it hasn't started in the super high usage that I feel it should be, and then every time it just ends up climbing to like a very high position. So just a testament to how good Among Us is. I think in terms of the most commonly used pairs, one of the things that we didn't see last week was Insane and Tapu Fini were not in the top 10 most used pairs. This week it made it to 4. Early in the format I was using both of this a lot. In the little I'm still playing, I still use both of them. I think it's a very strong core just to put both of those and maybe even Rillaboom. Running dual terrain is really not a bad option. It screws up your opponent at times. So it's kind of a good way sometimes where you can even override your own terrain as a means to like get somebody out and then override to the terrain that you want. People even run Tapu Fini with Among Us at times, so I think it's just a good core to have with Insane Among Us and then good pieces to build around.
I don't specifically think it's like the Instant Fini core that's super strong, but like those mons individually are just super solid in general. So it's not a big surprise that they've been used together. Like Intimidate, like they cover each other's weaknesses really good. And then like the one has Intimidate, the other has Setup or Specs. Like it's not the pair that makes it strong, but those are just individually very good on the team. They fit on almost every team, so not a big surprise to me.
They fit almost every team. That's absolutely right. So 10-second recap of the week here. Sunsteel Strikers got the win here, 6-2. Lunala Meteors 5-3. The Heat 5-3, and the Tokyo Thunders 6-2. So with that in mind, let's go through the games. Sunsteel Strikers are either second or third seed right now. I believe.
Let me check it out. I have it open. Strikers is third. Heat is fourth.
It is third. Okay. So these guys have won, I believe, 2 games 6-2, and they've won 1 5-3 if I'm not mistaken. So these guys have been consistently playing well. They have a very good team. One of the things that immediately called my attention here was the 2 ranked teams, especially the one with Sados. I was telling Zen earlier, I built a team that was 5 of those 6. The one that I did, I mean the Gyompi team, I did not have Whimsicott. I think I actually had Tornadus. I also tried it with Gothitelle. I tried it with a couple of things, and then tell me what you told me when I told you that I was working on that team.
You just you get absolutely slapped by like the Battle Room slash Joe UX9 team. Just indie the Hatterene, they just set a Trick Room, bring in stack, and you can't do much because even if you have like Encore Whimsicott or Encore Politoed, like because of the terrain, Whimsicott won't do shit.
Well, the
And
terrain and
Politoed,
Hatherin's ability as well. So even if you get rid of Indeedee, if you taunt it, you get rid of the terrain. Hatterene still has Magic Mount, so you can really encore it.
well, is Encore always also a move that doesn't affect Hatterene?
I'm pretty sure.
Didn't even know that. I've never seen the interaction, so I wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
tell
it
that.
shouldn't. I mean, I've never seen the interaction, but I would assume it doesn't work. Um, that's exactly what happened to me in testing. I literally didn't have an answer to it. And I was like, I really like the idea. I just can't figure out this archetype, and I dropped the idea. But I literally had those 5, and then I was like, okay, how do I fix this? And I literally couldn't get an answer. So I'm glad that they brought it. I'm glad they got the win. I think that team still has a bit of work to do. To your point against Trick Room, I feel like Torkoal is an automatic loss to this team if you play correctly.
No. With Politoed and Kingdra, you don't have an auto loss against Torkoal. It's literally just a combination with Indie the Head that makes it rough, not the Torkoal, because Torkoal is super manageable. Like you have Instant Politoed Kingdra, like no big deals.
So you would think until you encounter like a Spec Storkoal in Trick Room with just anything that is slower, you end up just getting absolutely trashed by it. I tested it a couple of times and I'm like, I just have no idea how to beat this. Because obviously...
Yeah, but that's not the Torkoal again. That's just like Indie with Trick Room, and then you have redirection or like stack attack next to it. Yeah, of course it's going to be strong. I don't think it's the Torkoal. I think the weakness of this team lies with Indie Head.
I think it lies in Trick Room in general. That's kind of the... Hatterene makes it worse just because it ends up hitting Kingdra. I consider running it like with an Assault Vest, and then I was like, it's just not... It doesn't do enough damage if you do that. Like, I tried so many different ways, and to your point, between Torkoal, Hatterene, Indeedee, Stakataka, etc., I just couldn't feasibly get it to work. So that's good. So another thing that caught my attention was the Politoed team without a speed user from Rain. Really like the Salamence pick. I've talked a lot about Dragonite. I have some faith in Salamence. Double Intimidate.
Yeah, I think...
Go ahead.
I think Salamence, I mean, it's niche, but I think it's alright. You have like good coverage, because I think if you run a life orb with like dual wing beat, you can OPPO mons like Rillaboom, Urshifu, Serena, Among Us, and Intimidate is always good. You just have Dragon coverage with Dragon Claw, and even like, I don't know what else you would, what would you run? I guess Rock Slide maybe?
You can run Rock Slide, Stone Edge, you could even run it mixed with some sort of like fire move. I wouldn't necessarily run Earthquake with all the Rillabooms around, but I think it has a lot of good moves that you can put on it. So
yeah, it's just not bulky at all.
It is not bulky at all, but you do have double Intimidate on the team. So if you play your 2 Intimidate users correctly, maybe even with Gothitelle, and then you bring in whether that is Ferrothorn or Aleki or whatever that is, I think you can really put some work on the team. I like it. I like the premise.
I do think you can struggle quite a bit against Landorus, because you don't have a lot of good ways to hit it, besides like the Politoed, but like Landorus, Rilla plus like a Firemon, maybe I don't know, a Heatran or something could give this team maybe some trouble.
Yeah, maybe then Salamence might need a fire move for that. Maybe or not fire, a ground move for that. Maybe that's how you fix that. But very interesting. So another one here. So Borgie was talking about his team. So apparently, he did quite a bit of work on the scouting side of things, and he was trying to counter team them. He was the team in week 2, and then he was able to. I mean, seems like did a great job scouting. He 2-0'd his opponent. His opponent was a strong opponent, so definitely a great job on Borgie's side to do that. Now, moving on to race team.
One thing I do want to... Yeah, race team, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, no, what I want to say, a fun fact about Angelo versus Ally, the 40 turn rule came into existence here. I think it was a Fini versus P2 end game that in the end, I think Ally won. Yeah, Ally won that. It was the 40 rule turn. That was super funny to watch.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Another fun fact about this week, someone reached out to me asking me for the paste of race team, which I obviously don't have. But it seems like it's a really well-built team. Someone literally reached out to me like, dude, do you have this team? So I don't know if Ray's watching, but props to you, man. People are reaching out to me to ask for your pastes.
Ray's just cracked at this format. One of the best in this league at this format from what I've heard and what I've seen in this league. Like, he's just insane.
Oh yeah, man. Ray's been doing a good job. I think that the last tournament we held in Dark Aura, he actually won. It was Series 12, but still, he still won. I think moving on here to Series 13, was a really big fan that Raw brought that Magirna kind of Trick Room team. I guess it's kind of a hard Trick Room team. Lost 2-1. I think
unacceptable. It's a Kyurem. You can't lose against Kyurem White.
Kyurem is so good, man. You gotta get past that.
No.
I mean, so here's what happens.
Just pure trash. It's pure trash.
No, the mon is good. Its problem, it's not itself. Its problem is Seishin. If Seishin didn't exist, it would be so good. Yeah, so he said apparently Kyurem went crazy in the MU. I mean, here,
I can see it went crazy.
Kyurem beats Palkia. Kyurem beats Yveltal. It beats Magirna if you play correctly, you max wake it and you beat it. It beats Incin, it one-shots it if it's not Sugarberry, and it one-shots Amoonguss. What else do you want to ask of it? It was great against the MU.
In this matchup it's good, but it's just a trash mon, that's just my opinion.
Come on, you're killing me here, man. It's good. I think this format, so when the rules were announced, don't remember who it was, I believe it was a Japanese player. They literally sent like a picture of like 20 different teams that they all were like 5 restricteds and Whimsicott. Cannot remember who sent this. And I was like, you can straight up just make HO teams with this. Like, you can literally just grab whatever 5 restricteds you want within reason and slap a Whimsicott and you have a team. Straight up.
Yeah, that's true. Straight
up. I mean, that's what KD did. Apparently he loves Solgaleo now, for whatever reason. But, that's all you need to do. You literally just slap 5 restricteds, put a Whimsicott on it, and you have yourself a team. Now, seems like he was playing what looked like a hard Trick Room team, but it seems like even in an HO-like team playing against Trick Room, he was still able to 2-1. So, props to KD for that one, for sure. Artcar, the use of Weavile in this team is very interesting. I think I understand why the Weavile works, and part of the reason why is looking for an opposing Yveltal, or any of the dragons like Sekrom and stuff like that. So I can see the logic of where that Weavile came into play. The interesting thing is that the opponent had Yveltal, Eternatus, and Lando that literally just hard lose to Weavile. So it was actually, I don't know if they were going for a counter team or a medical or.
I saw this match. I think it was a bit unlucky for Rinkai game one. I think he got crit by Max Phantasm on his Max Gastrodon, and
Oh,
then on game two, I, I don't know what happened in game two, but I thought there was also some X involved there. But yeah, that was a bit unlucky. I do think, yeah, Rinkai's Gastrodon was physical with Waterfall and Bulk Up, I think.
oh wow. It's kind of crazy.
And yeah, I think the Weavile is more than just, I think it's a good counter to Whimsicott more so. Because you can't get taunted by it, inner focus. Oh no, I don't think it gets inner focus, does it?
It does not get an air focus, which is one of
Oh,
my
no,
main complaints about Weavile.
it's needs to be, yeah.
If it
But I
got
do
inner
think so.
focus,
Dark
it would
type with
be.
triple Axel.
Yeah, I
K6.
mean it's a dark type. It's a fake out user. It can put in
Oh,
a little bit of work against certain things, so I can see why it came into
Nyx.
play.
Yeah, Nixie did attempt to counter team.
Yeah, we had something a counter team. Yeah, that's what I figured. It felt like it feels like a counter team. Definitely feels like a counter team. That's cool. Okay, very good. Let's move on to the next one.
Eh,
I'm gonna shut up here and I'm gonna
Um,
let you chat because this is your team.
so yeah, this week we had a really good start. I think we started off 4-0 or 4-1. Can't really remember either of the two. I then Tifous played versus Benbuild. I don't know. I don't remember the order, but we went 4-0 up, and then at one point it was 5-2 already, and then Sohai played, and we were like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna use. I just had Pikachu, and he used Pikachu, and well, he lost. But yeah, it was whatever. We had already won the week, but yeah, I think just a solid result from us. Like we've been doing pretty well this season. I hope we can continue. Next week we're playing against the Thunders. It'll definitely be more. I think the toughest week so far, but we'll see how it goes. And like, if you look at like matches, Defoe set was just a pretty unlucky set, but like was still a fun match to watch for sure. Aqueduct I didn't see. I mean, Pastor is a very good player, and I think it was a recording, so I didn't see it. Bengi versus Inge, that was a stream match. That set was cursed. A lot of RNG. I think Bengi got a bit more RNG favored this time, but I don't exactly remember. Wario aka Suwon. The team he used is very strong. Like I like his team a lot. I'm a big fan of Araquanid. I don't know why. I just like it. And I guess you've seen this before. I think the Heat used that team like this a few times with like Incin P2, and then the Araquanid. I think that core's just pretty strong. And then just here on, I mean, the Coco and the Landorus make sense here to cover out your weaknesses, and then he choose Kartana as his Grassmon. Some go Rillaboom, some go Amoonguss. Yeah, I think he had a pretty good matchup against Oriole. And then my starts with a really cool team with like Dusclops and Buzzwole. Like Buzzwole was extremely good here, and it just kind of won him the set.
So I
Very
worked
fun
with
to
my
watch.
stars a bit early in the week, and he wasn't sure about bringing the team because like, we didn't know because apparently like he had some context about having played with Varun and he had like some pastes that he had used in the past and early testing he was struggling and he was doubting the team, but we went back, just made some like just strategic adjustments. We didn't even make changes to the team, and he just started beating the crap out of me. And I was like, I think we just need to change the game plan here, and I think you got this. So glad to see that he was able
Hmm.
to get the win. We got a lot of work early in the week, so glad to see that he won.
Yeah. Then you had WJ Bex versus Konos. Again a Buzzwole. I think it was broad as well. Like we had two good matchups for Buzzwole. I think it has definitely a niche one, like not too good, but in some cases can be good though.
But
And yeah,
Buzzwell's a good
just
niche one. Like it doesn't work on
yeah,
every team, but in the teams where it does work, it can do a lot of work.
yeah. It's just against some matchups, it's really good, but in others, it's just completely trash.
Yep, yep, yep.
And then we have Sableye versus Mirai. I wasn't able to watch that set because I think I was at football at the moment when he played. But yeah, he won 2-0. Just good. I guess just solid against Mirai, good player. And that's the week for us, I guess.
Yep. I don't know if Ben Build is still in chat. I know he was earlier, so you're welcome to comment on the Blacephalon as everyone's pointing out here. I mean, that was a.
No,
I mean,
I think it was Scarf. Yeah, I think it was Scarf if I'm correct.
a Scarf mind blown. Let's go. Just show up
I
and start
didn't use
exploding
Mind
stuff.
Blow. I think you can use it next to Etran, but it was like Shadow Ball. I don't know what other moves it used.
Yeah. But Blacephalon, I feel like it's a mon that should be better than it is, for whatever reason. I think there
I think
are
it's pretty
formats
weak.
where it can thrive. So, I mean, it's like 184 special attack or something like that. Some crazy stat.
It is. I don't think it's too good, to be honest. I don't know.
I've
think
never
they're
been
just
able
better
to make
options.
it work. I just feel like it should be better than it is. So, past their Steam, so Naganadel was very strong in the early meta. And I guess people adapted to that, and then bringing in that Gyarados. Interesting take on the team. I kind of like it. I respect it. Pangi versus Ink seemed like a very standard team. We've talked about a couple of the other ones. And then jumping in to the final one on the one of the Pikachu and Soul Hype. I haven't checked the stat, but I
I
believe
did.
that Ho hasn't lost a game in the tournament. Maybe
heard it.
one game. But Ho is currently one of the highest win percentages in the league. It's been consistently very strong, and it's just doing pretty well. So, fun fact, something to look at. I can get back to you guys with a stat next time. But it's kind of interesting. Just wanted to throw that out there. Jumping on to the next one, the Tokyo Thunders. I'm going to go out here. I don't know if Helios is watching. I'm going to assume Helios is asleep. But if you're watching this, feel free to put a comment on the either here or in YouTube if you watch it later. Keep betting against the Tokyo Thunders, and they keep winning, man. These guys are second seed. They play against your team next week. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we're done with the week recap. But a couple of interesting things here again. Let's start with Series 13 right now. Again, Ho-Oh, another win. Team with Ho-Oh always wins. In the other game, so Joe loses Series 13. Adi wins. Not quite a hard Trick Room team. Not quite a particularly fast team. Seems like Adi was going for balance. Was able to take a win from Gahaku, so definitely nothing to sneeze at here. Interesting bring from Gahaku with Samasenta, and Eternatus on the same team, so not sure. It was kind of a weird bring, but I don't know. Cool idea, I guess.
I do need to give credit for how Aldrich played against Joe. Like, I watched that set, he played super well.
Very good, very good, very good. Did you hear? I mean, the thing is, whenever you have an opposing Venusaur, whenever you have a Venusaur, there's always a chance. Venusaur just creates so many mind games, and that's why it was so good in Series 8. It was just a mind game machine. That's all it was. So, interesting thing here. Both teams that had a Como in this matchup lost.
No, it also won.
Oh, it actually did
Daniela
win.
won.
Oh, it did win one. Okay. Oh, there were 3. Okay, so it went 1 and 2 actually. So one of them did win. I missed that one. So interesting. There's not a whole lot of Como usage in this week. I believe if you look at the overall stats, yes, you did miss it, Ben Bill. We talk about your team and we asked about your Blacephalon, so feel free to drop a comment in here and we'll circle back on
You
that
did
one
miss
later.
it, man. You did miss it.
So, interesting take here is that Komo'o is still, if you aggregate the overall usage
Yeah.
for the week. Did I miss a Sven round? Yes, you did. 100% did.
Bro, it wasn't that bad. It was a bit unlucky, but I mean, there was it was a good set to watch though.
Yeah, for sure. This is gonna be back on YouTube, so you'll be able to you'll be able to watch it. Yeah, of course. When this is up, you can watch it on Twitch. It's gonna be on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it. Regardless, feel free to put your comments, and we'll read them up so that whenever people look at this on YouTube, they'll be able to see your comments on your very special Blacephalon build here. So where I was going with Komo'o is, if you look at it on aggregate, it's actually still 26th in usage. People were using it a bit early, and I've expected it to climb, and it's still not climbing. People obviously cite the use of fairies, but I think there's ways around that. So I don't know.
I think with the issue with Komo'o is literally just a fairy weakness. Yeah, you can rune. I think it's soundproofed, block like Sylvian attacks, but I think the reason why Komo'o isn't that good is that there are a lot more, not just fairy types, but fairy moves in this game, and I do think like other Iron Defense body press like Registry, or even I've seen some Slowbro recently. I think they're just better options than Komo'o.
I saw a Glastrier with Iron Defense this week. Cannot remember who it was. I believe it was on stream.
I have no idea.
There was an Iron Defense body press, Icicle Spear, leftovers, Glastrier. I obviously did. I think we'll see it. I think in the next matchup. I know there was a Glastrier. I know I'm not crazy. There was a Glastrier that I saw, and I believe the logic for the Glastrier was that, and I didn't talk to them, but the reason why whoever brought that Glastrier, and maybe it wasn't in the league, maybe it wasn't in the Victory Road, but I would assume the reason why they brought it was with Icicle Spear, you can still pick up a KO that, like, if you hit the fourth one, you would still pick up the KO. And then with Iron Defense body press, you just can't kill it. So, interesting take in the last year on that one. So, Swedish player in a tournament. Yeah. It might have been in Victory Road. You're right, it might have been in Victory Road. I just remember seeing it, and it just called my attention. We were in this week, actually. I caught Rangholm's game on stream, and the games were very tight. It was a very good set, and I mean, spoiler, you see the results, but it was a really good set, and I don't want to spoil the interactions of what was going on, because it was very interesting. Like, Nidoking could effectively obliterate a couple of months in the team, but then he could get obliterated back by things like the Urshifu and the Rillaboom. So it was just super good. It was super technical game. It was very cool to watch. Another thing here, going through the week, I was a fan of that Galarian Zapdos. That's another one that I feel like should be stronger, and that's not getting a whole lot of usage. Alola Ninetales is one that had usage early, and people have gotten away from it. I think it should also have higher usage than it does. So I don't know. Interesting week. These guys, I keep betting against them. Last week I had Setsuku on stream, so I think I was a little biased to the manager, but I don't know, man. These guys are doing pretty well. I'm kind of afraid to bet against them now.
Really strong team. Really strong team. Can't say anything else.
Very, very strong team. Very strong team for sure.
Yeah.
So on the next one here, the Heat. I believe the Heat is the 4th seed. So I believe
they are.
All the top 4 teams right now are the teams that won. I don't know if you guys are locked for playoffs, Sven?
No, we're not. No, we're not. officially we're not locked yet. It's
Okay.
not guaranteed.
I think if you tie next week, you might be locked in.
Yeah, I think if we win this week, we're 100% guaranteed. But I mean, I don't really think about that too much. Just take it week by week. We'll see what happens.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, First thing we notice here, very tight match. Um,
It was super close week. I've watched, I think, almost every game here. It could have gone both ways. Like, the Calls could have definitely won this. Could have also been a more convincing win by Heat. Super close. I think the Turcos, if you look at their records, it doesn't justify how good as a team they are. Because I think if you just look at their roster, like, they have such good players, and that they've been a bit unlucky so far, I think. But yeah, I think they'll make it out. They'll reach playoffs. I have faith they will be able to make it.
Very cool. Very cool. I mean, these guys have to your point, they have a really good team. I think this is Tehran's first win. Um,
I
I think, I mean, Owe had a very interesting matchup to play against Vivo. Um, that was kind of an interesting take. Calvanis is using that standard Dragon Knight Spectre team um, against a fairly decently bulky team and Regieleki that Jamie Keane brought. So I don't know. That was kind of an interesting matchup there. Uh, Big brings the Nido Queen and loses. Kuaru brought a Toxic Rogue.
hmm
Not really sure what that's about. I would, if there were a Kyogre and you're using it for the dry skin, maybe I can see it. Not really sure what the objective of it is. But interesting meta take here. Como actually won on that one too. That Dark George team. I think it's a variation to like that P2 Amoonguss Fini team. Not Amoonguss. It's like P2 Moltres and Fini team. Cool take on the team. They get 2-on-1. Couple of well-rounded matchups. Couple of 2-on-0s on one side. Couple of 2-on-0s on the other side, and then only one 2-on-1. So.
No, there are two ones.
Is there two? Oh, there's two. There's one on each side.
Monroy
Actually.
and Haru.
Yeah. So there's one on each side. So that's cool. I really like that there were 3 Dragonites. I think they all lost. But I'm a fan of Dragonite. I'm not sure what happened here, but yeah. Dragonite's a strong one. Then if you look at the Series 13 matchups, Francis had like a very interesting take on Rain, where you have 2 extremely strong Watermons. Then if you look at the and with against a Sekrom, they were still able to 2-0. So interesting there. Tehran's team against the other one, against Hobbit's team. I feel like there's a couple of different ways that this plays out, but I don't necessarily give the advantage to one team. I think if you play Venusaur correctly, you can manage. But still might not be enough just being able to override the terrain. So I can see how the game played out, and I can see why Tehran had a slightly better matchup, I would say. They get the 2-on-1. Not sure if you have anything special on this one.
Not in this match. I think there was a stream match, so I didn't watch it. But like, yeah, I think you said most important stuff about this week. I haven't much to add here.
Yeah, and Nostalgia's great. Listen, it could have lost 3 games, man. I'm still a fan. I'm still a believer, man. This guy roasting me for eating my own words, but man,
Yeah.
coaching
I do
versus
think
coaching,
Jamie
but Tehran's
was-
was faster. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
Brad's was coaching. Yeah, I do think Jamie used the same team twice now. I think I saw him use it last time as well. I don't know if Brad can confirm this.
Interesting. I'm not a big fan of Seraora in this meta. I think if we didn't have Dynamax, I would like it a lot more. But with Dynamax, it just feels awkward because it's straight up a support one, where I think without Dynamax, it can put in a little bit of work offensively. and still have fake head coaching and some of the other things. So I think it would be a little bit better without Dynamax. That's just what I think. Now, in terms of the player rankings, so we see Borgi is 6-0. He's actually has never dropped a game so far. I know he's watching, so congratulations to you, my friend. Suwong or Warhyang is 3-0. He's lost one game. He had a prize of 15,000 versus Borgi with a 3,000. We'll talk a little bit about those here in a second. Weevo has only lost one game. They're 3-0. Pasder 3-0 has lost 2 games. Gyompi 3-0, 6-2. Something that really caught my attention here is in the top 3 you have 3 players that costed $3,000. One of your players is here. I believe it was your most expensive player, other than Ryan, who was your co-manager, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's correct. I mean, I'm such a fan of Subum. I think he is super good in this format. Like, I don't know, the man is he's just correct. Like, not much to add. He's just extremely good.
No, for sure. And I remember you shared with me a little bit of your pre-draft strategy, and you were really big on him specifically. And you were like,
he got on my radar via Banks, because he says you should really get this guy. He's really good, and then we picked him up. Yeah, Banks is one of my managers with Ryan.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I mean,
and then Borgi and Weevo, S3K doing a good job. Like Weevo, he's a bit of an older player who's always just performs when he needs to, and yeah, he was on our potential draft list as well, and he's proven he's definitely worth it. He's just 3-0, 6-1, doing very well. And then I guess Pastor is just a really good player, and same for Jompy. So like a lot of good players at the top here.
So
I just think the Heat has another 3K. It was baked, I think, but they lost this week. They had a really difficult matchup.
Oh.
So yeah, the Heat did an amazingly good job with like their cheap picks.
So these are the only 3-0s, by the way. So these are the people in the contention for MVP at this point. Nostalgia's Great hasn't had an interesting take here, so not surprising when you realize that Gen 8 managers let multiple international top cut players in non-DMAX format go for 3K. So, very interesting take. That seems to be happy that you're here hanging out with your face out. And yes, they agree with you that Fabian had an awful matchup on that one. So I guess not much to add here other than, I mean, Nick and Weevo play in a lot of leagues. I feel like Weevo plays every league that's out there that he always gets drafted. Strong player.
I've seen him. No, I don't think he played that much recently. I don't think he likes Dynamax that much. I'm not 100% sure. I do know I think he plays Littleroot Lessons as well. Okay. And then here now, of course. And about what Nostalgia is Great is saying, I do think he and Brede and Johan made some deals for like Jamie and stuff.
Oh, nice.
They did it with me at least.
Very cool. Very cool.
To make deals, yeah. Like we also got WJ Backs for 3K because I made deals with other managers.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Then moving on, let's talk a little bit about predictions. We'll do this a little bit fast here. So, match by match, tell me a matchup that you like. And who is your favorite to win here? I can actually, here, let me put it a little bit bigger for you because this is like super small.
Oh no, I could see it. Alright.
Here. It's super small for
people
it
was like here we go.
Weekly rosters here. Let's do this. This is going to be easier for people watching anyways. So let's go to the first one here. Who's your favorite to win the week? And who is your match to watch?
I favor the Cobras here. Of course, we played against them this week. I know both teams had some struggles at the beginning, but I do think Cobras really need to win this week. And they're going to put more effort into it because now they're like on the edge. They can't really afford to lose again. Otherwise, their chances of playoffs is getting pretty small. My match to watch here would be Ink versus Crosshots. Just two very good players. Exciting match. Definitely gonna watch it if possible.
I think I'm gonna go with 2 matches here. I think Asura versus Rowan is gonna be a very good match.
Yeah.
I think that was really good, and I'm specifically going to look for it. I think. I think in my next one, I'm also a fan of Iker and Ace Noah. That's gonna be a really good game. It's gonna be on stream too. So, um, finally, someone gonna predict me to win a match.
Yannick, I'll make sure I predict you to win, and then you see you lose because I suck at the predictions. I don't know what.
So striker Celtics. Who's your favorite to win here and match to watch?
Strikers. I mean, they've performed super well so far, so I think they'll manage the good momentum on and aiming for the first seed.
Okay.
My match to watch. I mean, if you look at the pairings, there's one obvious match that's an absolute banger: Ray versus Owie. I mean,
Agreed.
I don't have to even talk about it. That match is just pure fire.
Oh yeah. You guys should stream that
Another
match.
match.
I don't know if you have a capture card, dude, but you really need to. You guys need to record that.
Yeah, Klefki versus Arai is also. Yeah, Klefki versus Terran is also a really good match. Same with Mufang versus Dark Hero George. Those are like my matches
I mean,
to watch for sure.
Borgie's match. Borgie's match is gonna be streamed, so I guess you're the one recording on that one. But the race match, I don't know if either one of them has a capture card. My God, that's gonna be a good
No,
match.
it's just showdown. Probably.
Yeah, but I know,
So-
but like I feel like they should record, like actually make it like a card game. Just it's such a good match. I wish they just did it, but I get it. I get it. Not everybody wants to deal with that. So just because Borgie keeps asking, do you predict him to win this week against Ryko, or do you think
Okay, he's gonna win.
he's gonna
He's
win?
gonna win.
Okay, you
He's
are
gonna
about to get your first loss, Borgie. Sven is like horrible at these things, and you'll have awful luck this week. You're about to get like crit like 9 times on game 1.
We'll see what happens.
Next match, I think you're a little biased on this one, but I guess what do you think here?
No, I'm not. No. I'm not gonna say a single word about predictions. I will say some hype matches. No. My Stars versus Yumamai, amazing match. A lot of matches are actually fire, like Daniela versus Suwon is really good. Sableye versus Sealai. I can't just Sablai's match. I don't know how to pronounce the other name. And then both Series 30 matches are also good matches. Like Swipe versus Gahaku is a good one. Neo versus CML, same. Like a lot of fire matches this week. Should be a fun one. I'm not gonna comment anything if I'm predicting us to win or not, because I'll just curse us.
So Hyde Gahaku is an absolute fire match. Warhyang and Daniele on stream, insane.
They play tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then, I mean, obviously Ryan and Silane, however you pronounce that. I mean, recorded match.
Silayin, I don't know. Silayin, I don't know.
Very good match. I'm also not gonna. I'm not gonna comment. Danetti and Massa, that's a match to watch too. This thing looks like finals to me, if I'm not gonna lie. This could very well be finals. So,
I hope it would.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
and then Heat versus Colossus. The Heat is gonna win this. Just like, I'm a big fan of the Heat team, but like their roster is also really good. Have performed so far. Colossus have had their struggles, and like, yeah, I don't know. The Heat will. I think it's gonna be a 6-2 here for the Heat. Just have a feeling, but I could be completely wrong, like always. I think the first week of Heat, I was like 0-6 at one point at their predictions. Don't exactly remember. I mean, here is another 2 amazing matches: Joe versus Popopo. Like, I don't have to even say anything about it. And Zanzibar versus Polar Bear, aka Geo, like another banger match. Same for Francis versus Daini, actually. That's also a very good one. Like, yeah. And of course, you have interesting though. Colossus have used Joe and Adi. I think the last few weeks at Series 13, but this time they are both playing Spikemat again, like in week 1. They did both lose then, but we'll see how it goes this time.
Very good, very good. with that in mind, any final thoughts or comments from you, man? Anything else you want to call out or talk about today?
Other than that, Kieran White is terrible. I think that's it. I think that's it.
Well, it's still won, so I'm gonna call that an L for you on this one. So it won this weekend.
I mean-
Apparently had a great matchup.
You lost twice within World Cup, so that's an L for you.
Oh, of course I did, and you know the story behind that, so I'm not gonna get into it on stream.
Yeah, because the story is that Kieran is bad. That's the story.
Sure, let's go with that. Let's go with that. Very good. So thank you very much, man, for doing this. I know it's extremely late for you, so thank you very much for doing this. Hopefully,
No, I can never sleep before midnight, so it's fine. Like, whatever.
No, but thanks for doing this. I know it's late regardless. So thankfully, I know it's the first time that I think Brett actually makes it through like the full thing at least. So
because
thank you.
because come on, he can't miss that. He can't miss that.
No, I appreciate it. I know we move the the time around a little bit just so that we can have the accommodate to the Europe people. Maybe we'll do that again in one of the weeks. One of the things that I'm working on this week is so I did a pre-meta analysis that about 200 of you have watched, so it actually did pretty decent. I'm going to do another one now with a little bit more data and actually talking a little bit about that. So look out for that over the next 2 days. What I might do, Brett, is I might reach out to you to do another one with me. Maybe we can do it at this time, if that works for you. We can chat on Discord and kind of get that sorted out. See if you can make it. So I'll be working on like a updated meta analysis as well for this week. So look out for that video. I don't see anyone to raid here. I think everything that's available is basically Unite. And there's not a whole lot of that. I see Poke Alex is playing FIFA, so no sure you guys are interested in that one. So with that in mind, I think I'm just going to end the stream here. Thank you so much for being here, Sven, and for everyone for joining the stream. We'll do this again next week.
Well, it was fun.
For sure, man. For sure. Good stuff.
Yeah.
See you guys. Thank you.